Hello, welcome back to some ASG golf. So, with all of the APBA golf being played on YouTube with Dave and Tebow and ID Jester, I thought it kind of got me the itch to play some of my golf, which is ASG. Um, I haven't picked up APBA golf myself just because they seem to be so close to ASG. So it just, as expensive as it is, it just didn't seem to me like um, a smart choice, but I'm still tempted. I've got quite a good collection going with ASG. I do know one big thing that I like about ASG over ATBA is that they have the real golf course names. So I know there's copyright things and going on that can't be helped, but I like having the real names. It's like a lot like having the real logos for baseball teams when I'm playing, even time accurate logos, and so I do like that. And ASG is a good game. From what I can gather, that it's not quite as complicated as ATBA. And another thing is that it seems to have a little bit more, takes the difficulty of the greens into account. As again, I haven't played ATBA, but as I've watched videos and listened to folk, it seems like you just have one roll, regardless of what kind of green it is, whereas ASG has, I believe, up to 5 different difficulties, and it can even change from hole to hole, or change on the same green. So, like for example, if you're past the pin, it can be on the harder chart, or the first shot could be the harder shot, then it gets easier after that, or if you're so far away. So, I mean, it's even, you can have diversity even on the same green. And so, obviously, greens, make a big difference in golf, and some courses, their difficulty lies in their greens. That the rest of the course is relatively simple, but the greens are where it provides difficulty. So if again, if that's accurate, I like the fact that you can get a little bit more diversity on your putting difficulty. One thing I did do is round off my corners. I'm kind of on a corner rounding frenzy. I picked this up. I think it was at Office. So it's got Office Depot, maybe Staples. I can't remember, but it's got 3 different options. I think I typically use the R7. I guess that stands for millimeter. But I've been rounding off my inside pitch cards. I actually rounded off, this may be sacrilegious to some, but I actually rounded off my replay cards. Oddly enough, these are the exact same size as an APBA card. And so these cards are very nice. I hated to, at first to mess with them, but I actually prefer them rounded. So I've got quite a few sets of replay. 1970 is the only one that I've been working on to round those, and then I like the ASG rounded off quite a bit, so I'm doing all my sets, and then I have one printed set of inside pitch, and I've rounded those off, so I'm on a corner rounding frenzy. So as far as ASG, I think they've got seasons going back to maybe 2011. Other than that, they've got decade sets, and so most of my players are from the decade sets, and they typically only have a player in one set. Like Mickelson is in the 70s set, Palmer's in the 60s set, Hogan's in the 40s and 50s set, and so now Mickelson will be in the season set. I have 2019. And I have 2021, which is the last season before Liv started messing things up. So I wanted to get that season when all the world's best golfers were still in the PGA, or at least most of them. And so obviously Mickelson's 2021 card is not as good as what he was in his prime. So at any rate, this is his 2000s card. So that was when he was in his prime. And what I'm replaying is the 2006 Masters tournament. So what I like to do is find a tournament that I have a course for, which I have Augusta, and then play the last round and see if I can match. So here's what I got so far. I'm in the middle of hole 13, and I thought I would just show the last few holes. But he shot a 69 in the last round to win the 2006 Masters, and he won it by 2 strokes. So if I can shoot a 69 or a 70, he will win the 2006 Masters again. At present, 70 would be 2 under par. At present, he's 1 under, so I need one more birdie to hit 70. If I stay even the rest of the way, then he will tie. I can't remember who the guy he tied with. It wasn't a real big name golfer. But so anyway, that's kind of how I like to do ASG. It's just, you do a round, but it's competitive. It means something. And so, again, I'm in the middle of hole 13. So this is a 5 par. I've got normal conditions. It'd been a little while since I played it, so I didn't want to mess with the wind too much. However, there are some holes on this that, you have to factor in the wind, even if you have a calm day. And so with Mickelson shooting a 69, I assumed that the weather was pretty good on that final round in 2006. So anyway, he hit the first shot in the woods across the creek there, and he got a good tree roll and was able to hit out with a 7-iron just to the edge of the fairway. And so as you can see, he is not in too bad shape sitting on his second shot. We're doing the yellow pins, which is the 4th round. So he's 20 by 20, and so this is not with the game, but when I'm figuring out the short wedge charts, there's a big difference between 20 and 20 by 20. So they've kind of figured it out. So a 20 by 20 comes to a 28, which will move him. A 20 would be on the lower chart than this. A 28 rather moves it up to a little bit more difficult. And so again, I think that's a little bit more accurate for me. And I know I was watching Dave talking about APBA, how he felt like that the rules were a little bit vague just because they expected people to, kind of homebrew them a little bit. I know ASG's golf rules are the same. They're a little vague. And so as I've kind of done some research and played the game myself, I've kind of figured out how I want it to work and kind of go with that. And so, it's fun watching other people and how they come up with different rules. I personally try to follow the game rules as much as possible because I feel like the designer did certain things for certain reasons, and if anybody knows the game, it ought to be the designer. Now, I know that there's some gamers, people who play the games who have probably played enough of different games that they probably might know the game better than the designer. But at any rate, I try to follow the rules as much as possible. And so, at any rate, so Phil, as I play it and as I read the rules, you can either aim for one of the middle sections when you're in a wedge shot, which is basically anything under 125 yards. But I'm going to go for the pin, and I'm going for the pin because there's enough leeway there, and he's close enough and in the fairway. We should be okay to where we don't have any issues with that. Let's see. So, like APBA, it has some whole things. So it looks like they got some instructions on the yellow, which you can roll back into the creek. And so I am not on that. And then they give you instructions about what happens if you're in the creek. So again, I think I'm good. So we got putting chart 1. So when I get there, that's the easiest. So at any rate, you just roll 2 die when you're doing the wedge shots, and you use the eye. So that's a 35, and he gets a 2, and his iron is a 3. So a 3-2 going for the pin is pin high inside 5. So nice, pretty good chip there. And so that puts him right there. So he hits the green in regulation. So he's pretty good shape here to get a birdie. It's interesting. I started this a couple days ago. You know how it is. You get something on your table and life will interfere, and you can't finish. But I just saw what Tebow was doing some Mickelson, a 97 Mickelson at the Hamptons, which I think was, I forget which course that is. So I thought, well, I would show my Mickelson. But anyway, he hit the fairway in regulation. So you've got your, when you get on the green, you got to figure out how far you're away. So it's 0 by 5 is 15 minus 2 dice. Under normal conditions, if you roll a 6, you actually add the 2 dice. So we didn't. So that's a 7 minus 15. So he is 8 foot away. So if he can hit this, he will be 2 under, which is where he needs to be to win the tournament if he can play even the rest of the way. So we're on putting chart 1. Mickelson 8 feet away. And, oh, that's going to be good. That's a 2. Yep, he sinks that one with no difficulty. So he gets a birdie, which isn't too bad because, again, he hit his tee shot in the trees here, and he got a lucky roll that the trees didn't interfere with him too bad. So he drains that, gets a birdie, so that puts him at 2 under. So, again, all he needs to do from here out is shoot even, and he will once again win the 2006 Masters. All right, so we got hole 14 here, 4 par, 440, nothing particularly strange about it. Now, again, this I've said this in other videos, but I'll kind of let you know what I'm doing here in case you didn't watch those other videos. So you've got your center line, and so how I play it is that, like, for example, on this one, if it's a really hard dog leg, they will actually do an extending grid. So you kind of have to play to that grid. You can't hook that. When there isn't one, what I do is I say that I'm aiming whichever way the slight dog leg is going. So he's aiming left and shaping left. And the reason I do that is that on the results chart, there's certain results that if you're aiming a certain way, it's going to be worse. And so I want the results to come into play. So like if it's straight, you know, or even this way, I mean, he's not aiming left necessarily. He's aiming where he's aiming. But because he's kind of shaping a little, that's where how I do it. So I say he's aiming left. So if I get a result where, you know, like for example here on 3, if he rolls a 3 with a 5 on the blue die, it's got L35, right 5. So that means, you know, again, obviously if you're going to pick one of those, you would pick the right 5, but, you know, they're there for a reason. So because this is slight dog leg to the left, I say he's shaping or aiming left, and so that way that bad result will come into play. And so that's kind of how I do the aiming in the directional thing, and it works for me. It seems to, you know, be close enough to the directions to, you know, get the spirit of the thing. It feels like real golf. It just makes sense, and so that's kind of what I go with. So anyway, so he averages about 305 with the roll, so he should be in here somewhere. So we'll aim just for the middle and hope for the best. So again, he's 2 under a par. Got the 1 wood out here. So he gets a 53, and that's a 3 but he rolled so he hits it 270 first off. And then the 1 blue is your directional die. He goes left 25, 10, 25, and he is in the trees again. So when you hit the trees, you stop immediately, the rules say. 10, 20, yeah, right there. So he stops immediately and dies right there. So he is in the trees. Now he might be behind the trees. Let's see. Now, the way it is that if you've got 1 full block of trees between you and the green, you're in the trees, and he does. If he was right there, that one's not full, so you could say he was behind the trees, but he's in the trees. So not a good shot there, which is typical Mickelson. He hits them all over the place. All right, so he's in the trees. Now also he's in the rough as well. Here at the Masters on this thing, if the rough wasn't too bad, so if you roll a 1, 2, or 3, it's like you're in the fairway, and he did. So he's technically in the fairway, but we do have to do our tree roll. And then I still do a 6. If I get a 6 on that die, it's a bad lie. So again, that special rules that's on this hole, or this course, I mean. So anyway, so he is 170 away. And we're in the trees, so we got to roll our tree roll and see how bad it is. So we got medium trees here at Augusta. So 21. So in the trees, he can use up to a 6-iron, which might be okay. Let's see how far he hits his 6-iron. So he can hit his 6-iron up to 200, so he's not even going to need that much club. So he's got once again, lucked out on a tree roll, so he's not in too bad shape. So we need 170. Let's see. And again, he got a good lie in the rough, so he's going to be like hitting from the fairway. So another lucky break. So how much did I say I needed? 170. And that's to 10, 20, 30, 40. So that's to there. So I could probably go a little bit longer than that, like 175 maybe. And he hits his 8-iron about 175, so let's go with that. So he will pull out his 8-iron. And let's see. There's enough room there. I'm going to aim a little bit off to the left there, or to the right. Again, so this is where, I'm not really aiming, even though it's to the right of the center line. I'm not aiming right. I'm aiming that way. And I do know, like on this chart, for example, there are none of those split left-rights. It's either left or right, so it could be that only applies to the woods, maybe, because all these other ones it's either left or right on the thing, so it doesn't matter where you're aiming as far as those directional things. So anyway, all right, so got out the 8-iron, needing about 175, aiming on the right side of the center line there. So 63 is a 3P. Now the P only comes into effect if you're doing the short wedge. So he hits a 3. So he hits at 170. The directional is 3, which is straight as the arrow flies. So let's see. He's sitting at, get my calculator out here. So he's hitting 270. And then he hit it 170 in the air. Puts him at 440. 10, 20, 30, which is there. And then he rolls 5, but when you hit the green on the fly, it rolls back 5. So a little short, but on the green, so not a bad hit. So he hits the green in regulation, even though he didn't hit the fairway as such. All right, so sitting on shot number 2 there. He is 10 away. That's 30. Minus 2 die. Minus 7, so that's going to put him at 23 foot away. So we're going to go for that one. I think you can lag over 20, but that's close enough that I'm not going to try to lag. Putting chart 4. So here we go. This is a difficult green all the way around. So we got a putting chart 4. See, actually 23. Yeah, you can lag, but I'm going to go for it from here. So a 62 is a 14, and that's not going to cut it. He's going to stop 1 foot from the hole. So not a bad putt, but not good enough. And a 12 is a 31. Whoo. Yep, that's enough to get it in there. So So he pars hole number 4 to stay 2 under. Hole number 14, rather, to stay 2 under. All right, hole number 15. Add 15 yards. Roll to any tee shot totaling 300 or more. Okay. Add 10 yards to any shot. Okay. And then you got the grid lines. I kind of some of these weren't separated as I feel like they should be. It'd been a lot better if they just put a space, so that you know that these aren't the same direction. So I actually lined them so that way I know, and I actually lined them like red is the wind direction if you're doing that. Black is any directions during the hole, and then the green is when you get to the green. So I kind of color-coded that because I'm a nerd. All right, so he will just hit a 1 wood here. Now again, looks like this is shaping to the right a little bit, so we're going to say that's right for the sake of any directional rolls we get. So this is actually a par 5, okay. All right, Mickelson tees it off here, hole 15. He gets a 14, that's a 13, that's usually not great. So he hits 265 in the air. You got a 4 directional roll, which is right 35. That's not good. 10, 20, 35. So that looks like that's a tree. Let me just make sure that it is. Yep, it's definitely a tree, barely. So that will stop him dead there. So he's in the rough. Let's see what kind of lie he's got. Okay, so he's good as fairway. And looks like he's got a solid tree between him and the green. Or solid green, I mean. A solid tree. Even though it looks like it's just one tree. So he is going to be technically in the trees. Just let me double check that rule. It's been a while since I've looked at it, but I'm pretty sure that that is right. Trees. Okay. For a ball is in the trees if it is on a tree-covered square and more than one full square of trees lie between it and the green. Yep. So let me see this. Yeah. So again, he is in the trees. So let's see if he can luck out here with a good roll. Obviously, he didn't get the distance he needed because he hit the tree. All right, so again, we got medium trees here at Augusta. 25. Okay, so in the trees, he can hit up to a 3-iron, so he lucked out again. All right, and again, he got a good roll again here at Augusta. 1, 2, or 3. The rough is like the same as the fairway. So he hit a tree in the rough, but it was good rough. So now he finds himself 25, 35 away. And again, he can use up to a 3-iron. And he's got a good lie. So 235. Yeah, he's in good shape. See, a 4-iron goes 230. And you got this red here. So you don't want, that's, see, any ball stopping on the red grid line may roll backward. So you actually want to go long. Or I could lay up here and then try to wedge in. But you got a lot of fairway behind you here. So I think I'm going to try to go long. So a 3-iron will take him 240 up 245. Okay, so if you hit the green, you take 5 yards roll off. So he's probably where he's going to hit. So 245. It's going to take him 10. That's going to be close. Let's see. you know, again, if you roll far enough, you can roll back into that pond. We're gonna go for it. That's kind of how Mickelson golf. So we're going to try a 3-iron. Now, when you do a 3-iron, you actually use the W column up to 4, and then at 5 and above, you use the I column. So here we are. 3-iron, 245. Yep. So hopefully he gets. So tempted to lay up short here, but okay. All right, a 52. Oh no, that's not good. A 26. So he hits it 205. Oh, that's not good at all. So see, he's sitting at 265. He hit it 205. Puts him at 470, which is right in the middle of the pond. So let's see. His directional might be off enough to save us. Let's see. He did 25 on the 6 is 25 right. 10, 25. Oh, let's look at that. Let's consult the replay. Yep, that's definitely land. Make sure I counted that right. 10. Yeah, he hit it, 470, which is there. 10, 25. So he just barely hits land. Now that's rough. Let's see, 26. When you hit rough, you roll 20 normal. So you cut it in half. So he rolls 10. Let's see, is that sand or fairway? That's fairway. He is lucking out today. So he rolls onto the fairway. Man, what a what a shot. So actually that worked out great. The directional was saved him because he hit it way short, but he hit it to the right quite a bit, landed on rough, which cut the roll in half, and then rolled just shy of the sand trap. So there you go. Mickelson got lucky on that one. All right, so from the fairway, we're close enough. We should be able to go to the pin. And he missed that. I mean, if he'd have been 10 yards more this way, he'd have hit that red line and rolled back into the pond probably. All right, so 10 or 15 rather by 10, 25. 15 by 25 is 29. So he's 29 away. Use a wedge. So lucky shot. All right, so 29 puts him on this chart from the fairway. Again, he's going for the pin. Looks like we've got a good enough. Again, when I do the short wedges, it's either the pin or one of the center lines because that seems to be how the game directions say, and I like that. It makes it a little bit more difficult, where you're not aiming for any spot, so it kind of gives you one or the other. Kind of helps with the strategy a little too, for me anyway. 56. That's a 5. So a 3 and a 5 going for the pin. He's plus 5 and 0 in direction. So not bad. Looks like he's set up for another birdie. Give him a little bit of breathing room. So he hits the green in regulation. And he's 5. So that's 15. And we take away 9. So he is 6 foot away. Let's see. Use putting chart 2 for the first putt and putting chart 1 for subsequent putts. So this is his first putt. So he's 6 foot away for another birdie. 64 is a 12. And that's going to be plenty enough to sink it. So birdie puts him 3 under par. Getting a lot of luck on that one. The prudent thing probably would have been to lay up into this area. But like I said, it worked out all right. So now he is 3 strokes under. So he's got 2 strokes to play with 3 holes left. All right. Hole number 16. We got a 3, a 4, and a 4 left. Alrighty. So shot stopping on the red grid lines will row 10 yards left. On the yellow, 5 yards left. So wow, that's right in the middle of the green. So I think you probably want to go over here somewhere, because it looks like this is the yellow. So this side of the green, and the pin is on this side. So let's see, that's 60, 75. See, 150, 160, 170. So it looks like we want about 175 to 180, because if you miss over here, you got pretty good shape. So again, 150, 60, 75, so 175 to 180. Looks like 75. So his 8-iron goes 175. So 8-iron it is. That's cutting it a little close. I wonder what his 7-iron goes to 190. So that's a 15 jump. Then you're looking to get close to the trees there. So we'll try the 8-iron. And I think we're going to aim a little bit this way. We'll aim 5 this way. Again, this isn't a left or right aim. It's just where he's aiming. So for where the ball lands. All right. Ooh, that's not a good roll. 65. Let's see now. 8-iron. That's a 26. So he hits it 160. Oh, man. 160. Directional is 5. So that's right 25. 10, 25. So he's in the tree again. Now that's not going to be in the trees. It looks like that's going to be behind the trees, because he doesn't have a full. But yeah, that's a crappy shot there. Shanked that one. Okay, so let's see. It looks like that's in the rough area. So let's see. I don't think. Yeah, he's got the fairway. I don't think that matters on the short wedges, though. So he hit a tree. He's in the rough plus. So let's see. He going to go for the pin, because it looks like we got a little bit of breathing room. Unless we hit this way, and then he's going to roll. But I don't want to aim for that. So hopefully we just won't miss right. All right. Get back there, little doggy. So you got 10, 25 by 15. 25 by 15 comes to 29. Let's do our tree roll. So again, let's look and see here. He should be okay, because he's pretty close. Ball is behind a tree. If a straight line from the ball to the following intersects a tree square. So he may not be either one. Intersects a tree square. If there is an opening to any of these locations, the golfer is considered to have a clear shot. Now that's a tough one, because he really isn't behind a tree, and there's not a full block there to say he's in the tree. I mean, that could be like a tree overhung. I tell you, let's try this. 1, 2, or 3. We're doing a decider die. 1, 2, or 3. He's in good shape. Okay, we'll say he's in good shape, because again, that's just barely in the tree. So he hit the trees and stopped, but he's not really behind a tree or in the trees, because there's not a full block there. So we'll go with that. All right, so he's 29 away. The decider die has spoken. That decider die can resolve a lot of conflicts in your mind. And again, he rolled, so he's in the fairway because, again, Master or Augusta rules here. All right, so we don't have a strong wind. Okay. So he is 29 away, so that's this chart. Again, we're going for the pin. Ooh, 22. That could be good stuff. A 22 is a 36. A 36 from the fairway and a 3 is pin high inside 5. Crap. I thought sure he would be better than that with a good roll like that. Yeah, if he'd have hit 24, it would have been good. But anyway, a 3 and inside 5, so that he lands on the yellow. Shot stopping on the yellow will roll 5 yards left. Oh, left? So that's going to roll right into the pins. I was thinking it rolled right. Let me read this again. Shot stopping on the yellow grid line, which is he was 5 yards inside, will roll 5 yards left. So he actually rolled into that. So that's an opportunity for that to go in, I believe. Let me pause it just a second. Okay, so if you land on it, yeah, a 66 is hold out. So he didn't hole out, but when you land on it, there's a chart here. So you roll 1 die, and a 2 is 1 foot. So he's 1 foot away. Man, he's having some lucky shots today. All right, so he hits the green and ends up 1 foot away. So this will be for par. So 1 foot, and how to be pretty simple here. We're on putting chart 5 if you're past the pin, and I'm not. So putting chart 3. 61 is a 20, and that's good enough. So he pars that one with a little luck. All right, 2 holes to go. 17 and 18. He is, again, 3 under, and he only needed a 2 or a 1 to win the 2006 Masters Tournament again. All right, so this one is, again, going to the left slightly. So, and we're going to aim there. All right, so he gets out the 1 wood. A 41 is a 5, so he hits it 260 in the air. Deduct 10 yards from all tee shots, so that makes it 250. So he lands there. He's got a 1, which makes it left 10. 10. And then he rolls 35. 10, 20, 35. So he hit left a little bit, but not enough to hurt him. All right. So he hits the fairway. So he has hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fairways so far. So not too bad for Mickelson. And he is 140 away. So that's not inside of short wedge. He's on the fairway, looking good. So 140 looks like a pitching wedge goes 145. Let's see. 10, 25. Yeah, so we can go a little bit long. And we'll aim for the center line there because our yellow is just to the right of that. So aim for the center line. Again, he's using a pitching wedge. 34. That's a 4 on the eye. So he hits at 140. with no roll and no direction. So again, he's sitting at 285. 285, and he hit it 140 in the air. Puts him at 425. 410, 25, and then when you hit the green on the fly, it rolls back 5. So he hits the green a little short, but on the green nonetheless. A good shot. He did hit the green, so he hit the fairway and the green on this one again. It's 3 in a row that he's done that. So he is 10 by 5 away, which is 38. Minus 6 is 32. So again, he's about got this wrapped up. So I think he'll lag this one. Putting chart 2. Yeah, he'll lag it just to be sure here. 36. That's a 29, so that worked out well. That's down in those bad numbers. So a 32 with a lag puts him at 3 feet. This is for par. Ooh, 44. He nailed that one. If he'd hit that 44 first, he'd have sunk the 32. Well, let's see. Now, he probably wouldn't have. But anyway, so that'll be a par. So hole number 18. Okay, so this one is a more substantial to the right. Let's see. Get some danger up here. So he may 3-wood this one. Again, he's just trying to play it safe. Let's see, a 3-wood. And you deduct 15 yards from the flight. So a 3-wood. Yep, if I can get to the right chart here. A 3-wood goes about 270. That'd be 265. And with that deduction, he may get away with a one wood unless he hits strong. 305. Yeah, we'll go with the 1 wood. I think that deduction ought to put him about where he wants to be, and we'll aim for the center here. All right, 46 is a 15, which isn't good. So he hits it 260 in the air, minus 15. That'd be 245. He hit that one way short. The direction is 1, which is right 15. 10, 15, so that's in the rough. But he missed the tree, barely. So the rough will make that a 15-yard roll. 10, 15, and he might have rolled back into the fairway. Nope, that's still rough. All right, but I think he is behind a tree. All right, so he hits the rough. Let's see if he's good rough or bad rough. All right, so he's actually in the rough, because if you get a 4, 5, or 6, a 6 is a bad lie, but a 4, 5, or 6, you're in the rough. So, all right, so he's in the rough, and so he is definitely behind trees. So let's see what he gets with the roll here. The tree roll. So a 54 says he can use up to a 5-iron. Okay. He is, let's see, that's 190, 200. He's 205 away. And so what did they say he could use? 54 up to a 5. That's probably not going to be enough to get to the green. Yeah. Actually, he hits a 5-iron 220. So actually, it might, but he's in the rough. That changes things. Yeah, from the rough, that's going to be about a 205. So he'll go with that. So it could be worse. At least he can use up to a 5-iron. So a 5-iron he will use, and we're going to aim. He's going to be short. So we're going to aim here, Try to hit the middle of that fairway if we can. Stay out of that sand. That's a white sand, so it's not a bad bunker. But all right, so 5-iron from the rough. Here we go. 54. Now 5-iron will move you to the I column by 1. So that's a 4. So he hits at 180. And we're sitting at 260. So 260 plus 180. Oh, wait a minute. You deduct 10 shots from the second shot. So that's actually going to make that 170. So it's going to be shorter than I thought. So he lands 430, which puts him there. His directional shot is 5, which is 0. And then he rolls 15, 10, 15. So not bad. Not bad at all. He can get up and down to get his par here. So he's in the fairway. So he didn't hit the fairway or the green in regulation, but still not too bad. So he's got, let's see, 10, 15 by 10. 15 by 10 is 18 away. Let me make sure that that's not sand 5 yards away. Nope. So he'll be on the green either way, so we'll go for the pin on this one. So from the fairway, 18 away. It's actually, I think, the lowest chart. Oops, sorry about that, guys. Didn't mean to hit that. All right, the wedge from 18 rather. So that puts him on the second. All right. So a 56. That's not a great roll. The I is a 5. So that's actually not too bad. All right, from the fairway, that's pin high 0. So that's going to be a 66. He holes out. So he doesn't hole out. Crap. 2 puts him 1 foot away. So nice chip. He always was good at those chips. So he hit the green, 1 foot away for a par. Putting chart 2. It should be a gimme. 36 is a 29. And that is in for the par. So he shot 1 under on the front 9, 2 under on the back 9, which puts him at 3 under. Let's see, so 2 under, 36 would be a 34. Oh, so I had my pars wrong. So actually he shot 3 under par, and so he matched. So I wasn't one better. I was actually right on what he shot. Yeah. Yep, so he shot 1 under on the front 9, 2 under on the back 9, which gave him 3 under, and he shot a 69 in real life, so he actually matched. So I wasn't as good as I thought I was. So there you have it. Phil Mickelson repeats history and wins the 2006 Masters all over again. So that's kind of how I like to play ASG. You know, it gives you a round of golf that doesn't take too long. It's competition because they have to kind of match what they did. And so it gives you that element of, you know, again, just not a casual round where you have to hit a certain score. And, you know, that's kind of how I like to play a round of ASG golf. So anyway, like I said earlier in the video, with all of the APBA golf videos, it made me want to get out my my ASG. And again, I've got a pretty nice collection of ASG cards and dice. I've tried the computer version, and I just didn't care for it much. That's just me. I know a lot of people love it. It just wasn't close enough to the cards and dice for me because it kind of gets away from the grid, and it's not apples and apples. You know, like the cards aren't the same. The numbers aren't the same, you know, and so I like my computer versions to be pretty much dead-on representations of the cards and dice. And again, a lot of people, want to take advantage of the computer and make improvements on the computer over the cards and dice, and I certainly get that. So for me, playing these kind of last round tournaments, if I ever got crazy, I probably could do like the last 2 rounds or all 4 rounds of a golfer. If I wanted to get a little bit more, gameplay in. But I like this, and I love the Masters, or the Augusta, rather, golf course. So anyway, Phil Mickelson, 2006, won again with a 69, and I appreciate it very much, and I'll see you next time.